It's actually interesting. Do you notice that there's a certain aspects of how people perform indoors and some people perform outdoors? Like, I think it might be interesting from a mental standpoint too, because for me, when I'm playing outdoors, sometimes I'm like, oh, this is wind's fault. Oh,
Right.
I looked at the sun,
Yeah.
and this is sun's fault. There's always some. This is my
Always.
partner's fault. Yeah, there's always somebody else's fault, and
Just another added excuse.
yeah, indoors are dangerous, right? I don't have anyone to blame.
Lighting's bad.
Yeah.
I think what we are seeing the most of, based on our experience, is indoors versus outdoors is more a conditioning thing, especially in the summer, right? Someone's used to playing indoors or in a cooler environment, comes to Florida, plays in an outside environment. It's Africa hot here in the summertime. We're the crazy guys that are still putting on tournaments. Our participation is through the roof. But we do see players that are not hydrating properly, not resting properly, rushing things, and they're not conditioned for the heat because they had been playing indoors.
Indoors, correct.
And even high-level players who are like, oh, I'm going to play at such and such a location because I have a membership there or whatever. They go play outdoors, and whether it's our event or one of the other bigger events, their conditioning went down because they're not used to the heat.
We had a player withdraw,
Mhm.
playing women's, and then the next
Yeah.
day playing mixed. And she said on Saturday, I can't play.
Huffing and puffing.
But she's been playing indoors the whole time. So
Assuming that might be some of the snowbirds that are
It's
coming.
not even so much. It is snowbirds. I would say a lot of that's like, especially the recreational player, but even the professional athletes that come in that have been practicing indoors because
Yep.
they want guaranteed weather. It's because they've identified, hey, I'm going to train from 8 to morning till 10 in the morning, and it's guaranteed good weather, and I have a spot. Versus, oh, I got to deal with weather conditions. It's windy. It's rainy. It's the courts are wet. They don't have to maintain anything. Right, so when they have a condition where they're practicing in on a regular basis, and they get outside of that normal condition they're in to go work and play outside, I think they're seeing a significant physical challenge there.
Challenge,
in
100%.
some way.
Yep.
We're definitely seeing that.
Makes sense. Do you think it's the same in tennis, or
Oh. Especially in tennis. I mean, my son's a Division I athlete in tennis right now, playing for a mid-major school. When kids come down from the Northeast to play in some of the larger tournaments that are in Boca, these kids are not conditioned to the heat. They're training inside. They're conditioned to playing inside the whole time. When they go in this environment and they're playing high intensity, long point rallies in tennis, they're not prepared for it. They're huffing and puffing.
Yep.
Really are.
It's totally understandable, I think. But this week we're gonna have a good weather. I think low
Knock on wood.
low 70s. So the triple elimination will not have any withdrawals, hopefully.
Right?
So I know you brought it up to me at the beginning, and there is something we might disagree on, but in my perspective,
Mhm.
and I had played tennis, but I never played tennis on a good level. Like, I never was a school player, I never was a university player or
Mhm.
anywhere else. Like, my parents kind of told me, hey, go play tennis. You're gonna go there twice a week just for health, right? For health
Mhm.
reasons, because I want you to be active. But I never was good. Like, I never participated in the tournaments.
Mhm.
But coming into competitive play of pickleball, I feel like there's a very high mental aspects of the game that is being underestimated, that we discussed here for the last 40 minutes.
Mhm.
And for me, I can drill every day, but this drilling doesn't matter to me if I don't have a right mind
Right.
on this day, if I slept enough, or if I'm positive enough, or something else. So why do you think people generally underestimate the mental aspect of pickleball? And maybe they don't. Maybe that's subjective, right? So that's my
I
question
think
to you.
it's not just pickleball; it's all sports, right? There's a sense of the folks that are good at a sport, who are the ones that excel, have a balance between their physical attributes, their skills, and their mental state, right? Whether you're a race car driver, whether you're a basketball player, tennis or pickleball player, it goes back to the conversation I think we had earlier as well. That how much confidence are you playing with? People drive for perfection. They want to play their best, right? They're always looking for that key moment where they're like, I'm playing lights out. The likelihood of you playing lights out on a consistent basis is practically zero. you're never going to play your best day. In fact, you're going to probably play more likely an average player most of the time. It's how well do you excel at those moments that you need to in order to win, right? If most of the points are won by someone else making a mistake, what focus are you doing to provide yourself to give yourself the best opportunity to win that by forcing someone else to make a mistake? How do you stay focused on moving forward on the next point? I think those are the key things to have that balance in there. Pickleball is just like any other sport. You have to have that mental acuity and focus and confidence in order to excel. Like I watch players like Tyra Black and Christian Elshon who are out there playing, Will House. They all come from the tennis world. Their confidence is there. They're relaxed when they're out there playing. They're actually having fun. They're super, super competitive, right? But I can tell, like Tyra Black even did an interview a while back ago. She's like, I don't feel any pressure playing pickleball compared to what I did in tennis. I'm out having fun. And when you're out there having fun and you're more relaxed, you have a higher likelihood to play better than you would when you're dealing with all that pressure. I think a lot of times too with other sports, especially if you're playing in juniors, you have a lot of pressure from parents, you have a lot of pressure from coaches, you have a lot of pressure outside influence, right? I don't think you're necessarily getting that with pickleball, so to speak. So I think you have a little bit of a different experience with the sport. And I think the nice thing about pickleball, which transcends across everything we do, the sport's super fun. It's super fun to play.
So tennis is not fun.
It is fun, right? I will tell you, most people will say that tennis is a lot more fun when you win. And I think there's a lot of life lessons in those sports. I think there's a lot of, correlations between the tennis world and pickleball world or other racket sports, for sure. But from our conversations with, the guys that have played tennis before, I don't think they're feeling the same amount of pressure they did back in the day when they played tennis. That's just my take. It could be different in MLP format.
Sure.
It could be different in some of the big final matches in PPA. But when they're playing a 5-0 pickleball tournament or a pro tournament in another event, I don't know if they are. I get the impression they're not.
Do you think it might be because you're splitting the pressure with your partner? Because, I would say pickleball 90% is played in doubles and tennis probably 80% played in singles. Even though collegiate teams in tennis are playing the team events, right? Like
in collegiate events, you're playing 3 matches of doubles and 6 matches of singles.
Okay. But I heard that too. I heard that even some interviews of top 10 players in the world, I don't know if you know Andrei Rublev or Karen Khachanov, and even Nick Kyrgios or his partner. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly. Kokinakis.
Kokinakis from Australia.
Kokinakis. And I think they express how much fun they have when they play together, when they play doubles.
Right.
But when they play singles, they tighter, right? Maybe that's why the mental aspects in the pickleball is a little bit less exposed because it's considered to be more of a team sport.
It's actually a really good point. I think, when I look at it is tennis and pickleball, when you're in singles, you're alone. It's one of the only sports that you're completely alone with. Boxing, you have a coach on the sideline. You're out there alone, but you have a coach on the sideline. Tennis, you don't have a coach sitting on the sideline, right? The only thing I can contribute to as being a lone sport is maybe if you're out there sailing by yourself, right? But I can't think of another sport that you're completely isolated with. And there's a lot of pressure for you because you're trying to, I know in junior tennis, you're trying to win because a lot of times results define who you are when you're a junior. And then your parents want to put, you're getting some pressure from your parents, you're getting pressure from your coaches, you're trying to get into a college, you're trying to win for a team. All those things play a role into kind of like your mental status. And there's a lot of pressure when dealing with that. I think pickleball is not there yet because most people haven't started when they were junior. They were already graduated from college. They're jumping into a sport. They've experienced another sport and they're like, this is so much fun. I can enjoy this and still be successful with it and competitive with it. We'll see if that changes as we evolve into the NCAA participation in pickleball, whether it becomes an Olympic sport, whether it's country versus country in other world tournaments that we have that are going on. You have things going on obviously in India and Australia and the US. All those things are playing a role. And we'll see if that actually in the long term creates some other mental or pressured moments. But the feeling I got from watching a lot of these tournament players come through is that they're having fun.
And I think that's the most important thing. And When you watch tennis, I don't think some of those players having fun in the Grand Slam finals. Feels like they're fighting through it, and maybe they do. Maybe they do.
And going back to your point, sorry to interrupt, but going back to your point too about doubles, you can play off each other, right? You can take pressure off your partner by saying, "Hey, listen, great shot. You'll get it next time, whatever." So you're more of a team kind of environment as a pod, versus being isolated and being singles player, feeling all the pressure on your own, right? You have no other outlet. In doubles, he and I can joke around about doubles. Oh, dude, that was the worst shot I've ever seen you hit, and laugh about it. And he can say the same thing to me, right? And help you relax. And I think
that's a good motivation. Motivation. That's the worst shot you ever hit.
Yeah,
but laugh about it and just, I remember playing tennis growing up, and the kid's like, you literally have no backhand. And I'm like, well, you don't know how to volley. But we didn't lose a match all time in 4 or 5 men's doubles league play because we were laughing so much, but would focus on each other's skill set and laugh at our mistakes. And even in high pressured situations, we just felt like we were comfortable in that environment. And I think that's what you're seeing in a lot of these pickleball things, where these kids have come through the circuit through tennis or other sports, and they're having a good time, and the camaraderie's there, and they're successful because of it.
It's interesting. I think we have to bring here some of those pro pickleball players and ask them if that's the doubles or singles. Do they feel the same way about singles pickleball? Right. I think pickleball singles is changing and getting faster and everything. This is completely separate conversation, but do you have any of those players participating this weekend?
Yes. Yeah. I can't name names,
okay.
But we do have some very high level PPA or APP players.
So bring that up to him. Is it? Yeah. Do you think it's the time for pickleball to have performance coaches?
Interesting.
Since we were talking about that boxing has performance coaches, you have your coach. Maybe
some tennis actually allows coaching on the sidelines now.
Yep, maybe it's time for pickleball to have some performance and mental mentor. I don't know.
The team events do. Yeah. Right. So you have the MLP style events. They have coaching on the side.
We've mentioned Christian Alshon several times. I know Lee Waters coaches him. I don't know how much that is in between points, but obviously in between the sets.
And Lee's coaching Anna on the side sometimes, and some pep rally stuff there, right? And
reasonable amount of coaching is allowed.
It's
correct.
I think it's positivity, reinforcing that, right? I mean, we all know the skills there. It's like, hey, how do I deliver those skills in the best way I can and staying confident to deliver that?
Totally understandable. And I'll make a quick pause.
Okay.
I wanted to make a quick pause because the next question I'm going to ask, probably we're going to have to cut. But I still wanted to have this as a part of discussion. So be ready. You mentioned actually interesting point that Anna Lee Waters is managed by her mom and Lee Waters, and she's always on her sidelines. She brings positive energy, but most of us remember some of the mental moments that she has been going through at some point, right? And she hasn't been super happy about certain strategies selected by her opponents, right? So it's always easy, right, to stay positive when you're on the sidelines, but when you're getting into the game itself, and the moment I'm talking about is when she was lobbed, over, and she was not the happiest person at this point. And this is part of the strategy, that people choosing to irritate your opponent, to remove them from the feet. I don't know how to say that properly.
Trying to break them mentally a little bit.
Is it bullying? Is it pickleball bullying? Yeah, it's sort of.
Listen, there are different tactics of winning, whether you're trying to hit a better forehand. If someone's got a weakness on the backhand side, they're exposed here or there. When you're dealing with the best player in the world, trying to figure out where that weakness is, there's very little, if any, weakness there, right? So when you have the mental strength, you have the physical strength, you have the skill sets, trying to figure out how to beat someone at that level is very difficult. It's a chess game. So lobbing may be a strategy that they have, or at least trying to figure out ways to get in someone's head. That's part of the game, right? And it's
if it gets them off their game,
if it gets them more off their game, it's listen. If you're hitting a ball into the sun, and right, there's some strategy behind all those things that you do to figure out ways to win points tactically, right? is there cross-court patterns? Are you hitting the ball down the line more frequently? Are you drop-shotting the ball? Are you lobbing the ball? Are you hitting the ball more towards the sun? There's a variety of different things you can do to try to figure out ways to tactically win points. And that's the chess game that's being played.
If I remember correctly, she won that match, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she wasn't happy.
I know.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, I'm sure we all have been at the place where she was at some
She
point.
overcame that. Overcame that mental.
Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean somebody was lobbying me, but it might be some other things that I wasn't happy about that irritate me about the opponent.
Going back to the
behavior.
tennis 8 days, I just remember my kids growing up, Dad, I'm playing a pusher, right? That kid gets everything back. And they didn't have the technical skills to win a lot of points, but tactically they were smart to try to get under your skin. And the old saying in tennis was, you show me a pusher and I'll show you a kid with a room full of trophies. Until you get older and learn how to combat that, that type of tennis game in juniors was actually very effective.
Is the pusher is the same as moonballing?
Yeah, little moonballing, pushing, not finishing out points, getting balls back, things of that. And it frustrates you. You tend to overhit. You don't do things that you're used to. You're getting out of your comfort zone. All those things that play a role. And then all of a sudden you're playing to their level instead of playing to your level because they've slowed the game down in some way, shape, or form. And those are tactical techniques that all sports will kind of look to figure out ways to win, right?
But is it bad? I don't think it's bad at all. Like, especially if you understand that you're lower level player,
Right.
and you understand, okay, I have to do everything I can to win, and
Correct.
it doesn't seem to be inappropriate. It
Right.
seems to be.
And that
totally-
again, that goes back to the mental game, right? I'm not going to let this person get in my head. I'm going to play my game and deliver what I can do based on what I, have been taught to do.
Yep.
And I think, once that focus is there, those people tend to continue to win and
Yep.
do well.
Yep, totally get that.
Yeah.
Concluding on this conversation, there's obviously some other tactics that people use to get you off your game. I wouldn't necessarily call it a tactic, but I think some of the things that throw me off a lot, and maybe some of the things that I'm spending more energy than I should be, is the wrong line calls, especially on the rec level. Right, and unfortunately those line calls happening when it's very tight, like 7-8, 9-8, 10-9, and yeah, they called it in, they called it out, whatever, and I'm trying to argue it for 2 minutes, having this idea like it's gonna change anything if I'm argue, but it's not gonna change anything. And again, I'm subconsciously blaming something else, some other things that happen on the court, for actually my fault. And probably I was playing unnecessarily risky that I allowed them to call it out in that moment of the game. Have you ever seen the situation like this when you I'm sure everybody's seen
on
that.
all sides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, line calls are tough, right? We're in the honor system. Right now we're not hosting a lot of sanctioned tournaments. I respect referees a lot in the business. We actually have some very high profile referees playing in our tournaments often. It's not necessarily a job of a referee to call the ball in or out.
Absolutely.
A lot of times. So even when you're playing in a sanctioned tournament, many times the referee doesn't see the ball. It's just based on, whether that individual sees the ball in or out or not. I would say majority of the time it's not intentional to call an in ball out. Are you going to experience that? 100%. You're going to experience that every single tournament that we've hosted. There's always going to be a controversy about a line call somewhere there. My response and his response has always been
drama.
1 point does not define a match, and we run a non-drama event. Right?
Yep.
So
Non-drama triple elimination tournament.
non-drama triple elimination tournament. And to be honest with you, out of the 10,000 plus matches that we've had over the course of the last couple of years,
Very, very
I can
few.
count on one hand, on how many incidents we've actually had that are even raise an eyebrow.
Correct.
Can you give a particular example that you allowed to share?
I think there's some language issues that we've had with one player that was just getting aggressive with another player. Younger player that was inappropriate, and we stepped in. That we just said, hey, listen, either you have choice. You can either decide to behave yourself or you can decide to leave. That person says, I'll behave myself. 2 seconds later, that player did not. And then I step on the court and I have to say, listen, I've made a decision for you. And unfortunately, you're going to have to leave. We got a standing ovation for it because that person was very aggressive verbally to a minor. But other than that, I mean, I can't even think of another incident that we've had that has caused any ruckus at all. People have been supportive, whether it's cleaning courts off sometimes when we're dealing with weather delays, whether it's understanding that, this court's not ready yet because we're waiting for another opponent to come on, whether it's a line call and we have to get involved in it, whether it's a scoring issue. There's always something going on, but we manage that pretty well. And it always comes down to the common factor: where do you guys agree with what happened? And usually it comes down to, honestly, the integrity of people. It's like, you know what, it's yours, go ahead, you can have it, right? Again, we're not curing cancer here. We're not operating on a child here. We're playing pickleball, right? And at the end of the day, put that kind of perspective into it, and you're not winning $1 million either. You're out there to have fun and compete. And if you disagree with one particular line call, I'm going to say shit happens, right? But at the same time, move on from it, learn from it, and now you kind of know what you're going up against if it happens again. Right?
Do you remember any particular moment in your games when you had this argument or when you had this, let's say, misunderstanding either with referee, either with other players, when it was sort of crucial for your game, for that particular moment?
Him and I playing? Yeah. I would say probably not, no.
Okay, understood.
No. Yeah. Right? So, I mean, you don't recall anything that we got real controversial with the opponents or a line call? No.
No, I mean, my only big issue is we always joke around, you always give the benefit of the doubt to the opponent.
Yep.
And I give him credit for that. My son's the same way. That's just in his DNA. He's like, he always gives the benefit to the opponent, to a point where, like, your opponent's never given you the benefit of the doubt. But that's the honesty and integrity that's kind of built into him.
Yep.
And a lot of other players. And I think people are of the mindset of, like, hey, it's one call. Like, if it happens over and over again, raise your hand and we'll come there and we'll monitor the match, right? I'm not here to line judge, but if I do see something and I have to overrule it, I will. We've had that happen before. And the player's like, oh, okay, I get it. Yep. And one other player's like, well, see what I'm talking about? And I'm like, calm down. There's no drama. Let's just play pickleball.
Yep, that's understandable. But I think some people, and including myself, I'm guilty of that. I used to pay too much attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually give some benefit of a doubt. But I remember one game when it was really tight. It was game to 15. It was the second bracket, like cancellation bracket.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at the point like 13-11 or something, 13-11, and we were losing. And I did a cross-court dink. No, my partner did a cross-court dink, and I was standing right on the line, and I was seeing this ball skewing on the line. And I was so confident it was in because if you see the ball skid or
sure. Yep.
It's usually
an indicator, like something happened.
Yeah, something happens, and because those lines were taped.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
So, yeah, I was so confident it was in, and I was true believer of it, and I thought, oh my God, 11-13, finally we have a point, we have 12-13, and they both call it out.
14.
And I was so frustrated because, for them it was
key point.
Yep, a key point. For us it was a key point.
Mm-hmm.
And the line judge was standing right, not the line judge, the referee was standing right, and I said, oh, I'll ask him. And she said, I saw it out. And I was like, how can you see that out from your possible position? I was hoping he's gonna say, no, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, the right thing from my perspective, because basically that's the position for me. I see the ball here, and we all know that the best perspective is either this or this, because you can see the green between the ball and the line. But from this position, it's almost impossible.
Right.
Yeah, it totally threw off my game. I spent like 5 minutes arguing, and it led me nowhere.
Gotcha.
And I'm fairly calm. Like, I'm a very calm person.
You are calm.
I don't remember myself being arguing with anyone.
You internalize, though.
Yeah, I'm being so angry at the situation, at myself, and everything that I spent all my energy, like 5 minutes, on this discussion that led nowhere.
Right.
Guess what happens?
Mm-hmm.
2 serves into the net, we're losing the match.
Yep.
So the moral of the story is that yes,
Don't play on tape lines.
Yeah. If you think the referee is there to protect you, probably not. But no.
False sense of security.
Again, the moral of the story here is just don't spend or overspend energy on something that you can't change. And,
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I mean,
Even if it's a decisive point, you better channel that your energy to overcome it and come back into the game instead of arguing for this point that obviously already lost.
Right. I mean, I think you can always, when the match is over, you can always reflect on things you could have done better or how you could have mentally done something different.
Yeah, it's not like I have to be arguing better.
Right. You have to but you hyper-analyze your game, right? So if it is game to 15 and you got a bad line call, for instance, and you end up losing those 2 serves, what could you have done better to win the match, to not get to that point where you're down 15-9 or whatever it is, right?
Still got 3 more points to go.
Yeah, it's not like I lost because of it, right? I lost because I...
So that's what I internalize, and I analyze like, oh, I went for too much here, or I should have done something there. Again, it comes back to that mindset of, did I create the right opportunity and just had bad execution? I can go back and practice and drill.
Yep.
Or am I not creating the right opportunity because I'm not hitting the ball in the right spot?
Sure.
Or I'm overhitting the ball here. Am I doing stupid things like driving the ball twice in a row? Am I doing things, right? Those things are like tactical errors that as you get better, you cannot... Decision making. You cannot afford to do those things, right? So you can self-reflect on games like that to do your analysis, to say, hey, listen, I'm going to try to improve as a player all the time. And I know I'm not going to win everything. And that's one of the best parts about playing in competitive tournaments, is that we talked about earlier, you're going to get exposed against better players. So when you're playing players, you have the ability to hit some shots that they're not in your toolbox, right?
Totally. We spoke about it at the beginning, right?
And you're like, ESPN, oh my God, that guy hit that ball, that guy can do this, that girl can do that. And you're impressed by that, and you're like, oh my God, and my feet have to be in this position, or my balance has to be perfect, or I have to hit it cross court better, whatever it may be. You can self-reflect on that and do some analysis that way. So you're consistently trying to create yourself better opportunities, and then you can work on the execution style stuff as you practice on the court in rec play, right? So when I'm playing in rec play, I work on my serve all the time, because I know sometimes when I play in tournament play, talked about earlier, I can hit the ball hard on a serve, but a lot of times when it's tournament play, I'm just kind of, I'm not floating it in there, but I'm not hitting the ball at 90%.
Do you feel like you're not taking enough risk?
Correct. Correct. And it's like, okay, especially on the tighter points, right? Because I'm thinking about, what if this doesn't work? What happens, right? And that's the mindset and mental side of things, where as a advanced player, you're not thinking that.
You can't expect failure.
You can't expect failure. You have to go for that risk and be confident that you're going to hit that, right? Imagine the putter, the golfer trying to hit the putt to win the Masters or something like that. You've practiced that putt 1,000 times. You have to have total faith that you're going to be able to do it, and not, right? I think all sports have some type of analogy behind that. So if you practice in tournaments like ours, for instance, and you're practicing going for those shots, and you're practicing the right shot location and not doing high risk shots, as you graduate into other things, I think your play is going to be that much more advanced faster.
Exactly. I agree 100% with you. And I also think it's some of the strategy that you, on your decision making, this is part of the strategy you can implement, especially when it gets into a very competitive game, such as 11-11, 11-12. Don't probably go close to angle. Don't select those sharp angles that give you a opponent an opportunity to call it out. You did it yourself. You hit a risky shot.
I agree.
Hit it 20 centimeters, 20 centimeters, sorry.
Center.
Centimeter.
Yeah. 2 inches, or I don't know, 5 inches to the left, you will be safe, right? So probably, especially on those moments, if you don't want to get into the situation, just...
you never know. Listen, if you're doing some high or less risk shots, right? That's not to say that you won't have a better opportunity on the next ball to put the ball away, or give yourself a better opportunity to maybe manage that risk assessment more effectively. That's what it comes down to, right? So it's what position are you in to take that high risk shot? Are you balanced? Are you in the right position? Are you right? There's a lot of different factors to it.
Totally right.
And I'll play a role in it. So.
Totally right. And I think that kind of raises an interesting question, right? We partially talked about that as well. Is every point worth the same? I've seen some points like crazy, like, impossible rally for 50 points. Like they defending on the baseline, they're coming back to the kitchen, they volley, and the opponent make error,
hand battles are amazing.
Hits into the net, and they celebrating like they won a Wimbledon tournament. And the next thing, what happens is they serve it into the net.
Yeah. And what's the joke we always say? Same guy.
Same guy.
Same guy. Right.
So yeah, every point's worth the same, or because people, again, you're spending your energy on such a long point to get a side out, right? The next point you lose an easy serve, which worth exactly the same, maybe even a little bit more, because you can earn point from it.
But I think if you took an analysis of all the top players in the country right now, what is the common thread that they all have? They probably make the least amount of mistakes as the other players do, right? So I think if you look at it that way and learn from those folks, and all the named big players, right? They're so consistent and they're so balanced that they're not putting themselves in harm's way of a vulnerable shot back. They're technically always going to be sound, right? Most players at that level are always going to be very technically sound. It's the tactical side of things, the strategy side of things that is the mental game, right? And those high-level players know how and when to go for those opportunities. Like an example would be, am I dinking the ball? Am I dinking the ball in the middle? Am I dinking the ball cross court? Am I dinking the ball down the line? And oh, by the way, what's going to happen when I have to go right to hand battles? Is it an opportunity for me to go aggressive with the ball, or do I have to be patient and go back to sender? All those things are playing roles in your head. You're waiting, you're patient. All of a sudden, boom, you're striking. And I think the best players in the world see that 2 or 3 chess moves in advance, right? They're waiting, they're patient. All of a sudden, they know if they put the ball just a little bit over here, a little over there, within center margin, that the ball they're going to get back might be an opportunity to be offensive. And that's where I admire those types of players that can sit there and just be like
super patient, wait for their time, for their
They're like
chance.
snipers. That's crazy. They're like just sitting there waiting for their opportunity.
Yeah, and that's, I think, very underestimated skills. And to become this, you have to be a friend with your head. And don't make desperate decisions and train your decision making, which is, I think, goes closely with the mentality, how to train your mentality. Very, very interesting, actually. So one more point, which can consume your energies, making different calls with your partner, right?
Making different calls?
Yeah. Basically, disagreeing with your partner on calls, and it's kind of continuation of our conversation. Have you, I don't know, encountered something like this? But I mean, in my experience, this usually goes quickly. Like, you just show this, my partner showed this, and we're like, okay.
Yeah, it's happened to us multiple times, but it is what it is. We usually work through it pretty quickly. But
well, the line call is a line call. So if one of the partners
his eyes are different than mine, and mine are different than his,
different
and
angles. Right.
So
I think if one partner says it's in, the other partner says it's out.
It's always
out. It's out.
Really?
It's out. No, sorry, I take that back. Rewind. It's
what?
I was talking about him. My bad. No, it's always good shot. So the disagreement comes after the match usually, or it comes after the point's completed. It's not about hey, I saw it in, therefore I'm changing my call. That's not appropriate. I think it's like, hey buddy, I can't believe you called that in, or I saw that out by 3 feet, right? Type of thing. But again, you regroup. I mean, 1 point's not defining your match, and are you going to dwell on that one particular thing? You can yell at each other after the match is over.
Yeah, I totally agree. Also, example from one of my games is, I think it was when I matured already, at certain points, and we had a game it was a New York APP, fantastic event, fantastic facility. You're playing in this.
It was the first time I think they were up in New York at that particular one.
US Open.
Yep, awesome place.
Arthur Ashe Stadium and everything, and it was a round robin game, actually a very crucial game because we kind of were deciding. It was a decisive game for who gonna be eliminated from the group, and also was very tight, like 11-10. And I made a call out. I really wanted it to be out, and I called it out. You know, it's like one of those moments when you see it and you think probably in, but I really want it to be out, so I call it out unintentionally. You know, it kind of it's just a moment. It happens, and then the opponent's like, oh, no way, it's out, and I just say, okay, sure. If you guys say it, you're confident, we're gonna call it in.
Right.
I didn't spend any energy on it. I like, okay, I accept it. I apologize to my partner. Sorry, I called it out. We played and we won. And I think that was a great example for me.
Wow.
How without, spending too much energy arguing, like, what other scenario might happen? I say, no, guys, it was out. It's my call. Whatever.
Right.
I can play the big, bad guy, bad boy, whatever. You don't have anything to say. It's my call.
Right.
I say, okay, sure. I'm not that confident, and I don't want this point to be, let's say, deal breaker for us. So sure. Yeah, and it actually was a very important point, but I realized
stay within yourself.
Yeah, I'd rather don't spend any energy on that, and yeah, it's a good thing.
And you walk away with your moral compass still intact.
Yes, yes. I don't want to be perceived as somebody who intentionally calls something wrong.
Yep.
Even though I can admit that sometimes, especially early, I wanted the ball to be out so much that probably I called it out more than I should have. Like right now, unless I'm 100% confident and I saw the distance between the ball, I'm calling it out.
In our tournaments, right, I from what we've seen, the line calls are all amazing. I see more people congratulating someone on a positive shot. I would say 95% of the players don't intentionally call a ball out when it's in.
It might be
it's to the point you made. I hope it's out, or I wish it's out, or I'm just gonna. No one's overruling me.
Yeah.
It could have been out, right? And they're trying to convince themselves it might have been out. But I think for us, right? I literally I count on my hand out of 10,000 plus matches we've had.
Yeah, it's been very very few.
It's been amazing. We've had more congratulatory comments made than bad line calls.
We don't see every point, obviously, but it's always usually a real positive environment.
Battletoad Pickleball.
Okay.
Friendly environment, good line calls, congratulating.
That's awesome.
Paddle tap
Everyone's
pickleball.
triple elimination bracket.
Yes. Paddle tap pickleball. That's why our tag is the high five of pickleball, because everybody's having a good time high fiving each other.
Yeah, that's perfect. So one last point on this kind of mental thing and some things that might distract you, decision-making process, is sometimes when we call it the train with my partner, like sometimes the games are tight. It might be 3-3, 4-4, and it's always back and forth, side out, side out, side out, 3-3, side out, 3-3, side out. And you're kind of stuck both. But when this momentum shifts and you move, somebody earns the point and it's 4-3, it's usually more than 1 point, right? It's usually 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, and we call it sit on the train.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so we sit on the train and we just go with the flow. We're loser's train.
We're observing. That's hysterical.
Yeah, and we're sitting on this train and we noticed that momentum shifted from what we used to see very even game.
Right.
And when we get a side out to our serve, we're trying to win it back as fast as we can, right? Because we just lost 5 points in a row. And I think this is also something that drives your decision making away, that you're trying to win faster. Instead of being patient and thinking and forgetting that every shot was the same, but you're trying to speed up, or you're trying to drive, you're trying to
win 5 points at once.
Yes, exactly. You're trying to win it faster because you just lost so many. Right? I think that's just one of the important things I wanted to talk about. I think it's just affects everyone's game, not just mine and yours. Maybe you also seen it in the tournaments too. And if you have anything to add to it.
I mean, I experienced it at one of the tournaments playing senior pro, that we were up 9-7 in the first set against the team who ended up winning it, right? We were up 9-7. The team called a timeout. And complete momentum shift. They ended up winning 9, and then went up 11-9 in the first set. And we did very, very well in the second set, and then fumbled in the third set and lost the match. But the timing of their timeout was critical.
Yes.
They saw a complete momentum shift when they were losing 4 or 5 points in a row. We went up on them. We had a lot of confidence. We were on a roll. Everything. I mean, the pickleball felt like a beach ball. It was just big, right? Everything was like in the zone and just felt good.
Why do you think this pause of timeout moved you away from your winning streak?
It gave them ability to reset. It took us off of the kind of momentum flow that we had, and kind of allowed us to kind of, I guess, reflect a little bit. Kept positive. We're like, hey, let's keep doing the same of this, more of the same. They made some small little adjustments. They were able to say, okay, listen, we're going to isolate, me or him versus, vice versa. Or they're going to do a different kind of strategy, or whatever their tactic was. It worked. I gave them a lot of credit after the match was done. I said, talk about a perfect timing for a timeout. And I think timeouts can be effective that way, right? I think when you're seeing the game kind of starting to move away on the scorecard, timeouts can be effective to try to take away that momentum. Sometimes they don't, just because the team's that much better and they're on a roll. But there are times where I believe that a timeout can be very effective, where you have, in ours we have 1 timeout per game, per person, per team.
Per team.
But
1 per team, right?
1 per team
1
per
per
set
team,
or game. So we've seen those players take a timeout and teams take a timeout where it's been effective. Other times we've seen it where they're just tired, physically tired, and they went just played a 20, 30 point rally easily, and someone who's not that conditioned for that takes a timeout and next take a water, and we're like, I need 5 seconds here. It's hot out, right? And that can be an effective way of doing things, trying to pace yourself a little bit. But I think those timeouts can be pretty impactful in circumstances that, for momentum.
Yeah, timeouts are definitely underestimated at some point, and if you call it right, you probably can change a lot, and if you call it wrong, you probably give it more of a benefit to your opponent because you call the timeout for them. Speaking of a timeout, I know we also touched base on that a little bit, but I have always a mindset or a situation, and I think most of us always been in this situation. Okay, I just lost 2 points in a row. 1 more point and timeout. Just 1 more point and timeout. I'm too lazy to take timeout now. I'm just gonna wait until I lose the next one, and I'm gonna take a timeout. And if I win, maybe I won't.
Right.
Thinking about it and reflecting on it, how many points you actually won when you think that way? So you allowed yourself to lose next point, right? And you say, okay, I'm gonna lose next point. I'm gonna take a break.
You're mentally preparing for negative consequences.
That's terrible, right? So this 1 more point in timeout thing,
right.
I think it's something that you need to eliminate from your head. And even when you had a little thought in your head about timeout, take it. It's okay. Because if you're thinking about timeout, that's it. Like you're not on the court, you need it. And that's what I always convey to my partner, like, hey, let's never argue about timeout. If you need it, call it. I will never object, like, oh, why we called it timeout, or oh, why did you call it? I didn't want it. If somebody needs it, sure, take it. Like, and I think maybe that's why 2 timeouts in general sanction tournaments, but with yours is a little bit more difficult, right? Because it's 1 per game. But still, I mean, if somebody needs it in the team, it's okay. How do you guys approach timeouts? And have you ever had a situation like this, like 1 more point in timeout and that's it?
I'm guilty of not calling timeouts.
Oh, so
that's just me. I'm one of those guys. Just keeps the flow going. If I'm losing or winning, it doesn't. That's just me. So I haven't really been able to dissect when to call timeout. So.
Okay.
I think I played National U.S. Open last year. I played with a partner of mine, a buddy of mine from New Jersey that I've actually never played in a tournament before. We actually did pretty well. He wanted to call a timeout right before I was serving, and we had just won 2 points in a row. And I'm like, I don't think I'm ready for that. Come on, we got a mojo working here. But he was fine with that. He's like, okay, if that's the way you feel, let's go. But again, to your point, if he's like, I need a breath, I need to change, I need to focus.
Sure.
We're 1 point away. Let's regroup. can't disagree. I mean, it's about the balance between your relationship with your partner. So.
But you played with somebody you never played before, right?
Yeah, I did. So it was a great experience, but we did experience some timeouts from our opponents that were critical. And there's definitely it's a momentum game. It's a momentum shifting game, and if you're able to use a timeout and it's in the toolbox, my suggestion is to use it.
Sure,
right?
they
it's part of the game. I'm not a big believer in taking the quote injury timeouts, and all of a sudden you're down 5 or 6 points. You're already taking your timeout. Oh, my back hurts, type of thing, and you're in an injury timeout. That's different. I'm not a big believer in that type of mentality. Yep. But if you have timeouts that are an allotment based on the rules and regulations that the APP or PPA or sanctioned tournaments or whatever we have, use it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think
it's part of the arsenal.
Especially when you're playing with somebody you never played before, and I think a lot of tournaments use this find a partner thing, and one of the most random things you can do, and especially finding this chemistry with the new partner, I think it's very important to speak about it in advance, like, hey, I don't know you, we never played together, but let's agree on one thing. Like, timeout is our secret weapon that we have in our pocket, and let's agree that if somebody needs it, let's just call it. And we're never going to argue about it. We're never going to make it become something bigger than it should be. Right. So yeah, it's a very good, I think, advantage that people underestimate in pickleball, that they have in their pockets, and they
taking notes.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes this weekend. And compared to tennis, I know we kind of disagreed about it in the previous topics, but in tennis you play the game, you sit on the bench, take a drink, you go play next game. You play, you serve, you change sides, so you have time to reflect a little bit and to probably change. In pickleball, it's fairly straightforward. Like, you don't really have those side changes unless you're playing game to 15. So if you're playing game to 11, in most cases it just keeps going, right?
It does.
So that's why timeout is crucial as well, because it allows you to take this pause, important.
Right. No, I agree with that. I mean, I think in tennis, I just think tennis is more physical, just because you're covering that much more court, and the endurance stuff plays a major role in that. That's why you do get 20 seconds between your first serve going after your last point.
Yep.
The odd number of games you switch sides, and you can take, I think that's 2-minute break or something like that. So, that part of it is based on physical stuff, part of it. But yeah, you do have a chance to reset kind of your mind a little bit when you do a changeover in tennis, or the 20-second pause between your next service point. I do think in pickleball you have that ability as well. There's no time clock yet, right? It's between serves, so you can kind of regroup with your partner. You can take a second, go wipe your towel, relax, go to the next one. But once the flow of the game goes with points, there is no changeover, unless with ours it's third set you change at 6, or change at 8 or 15. So that part, there's no official timeout, and that's why the important part in timeouts are instrumental on potentially moving that momentum shift to be advantageous for you and your partner.
Yeah, totally understandable. Thank you so much for the insights and for all the decision-making discussion we had today. And I think we discussed more than we expected to. And awesome. Hopefully you'll find it helpful at some point, because I think some of these moments that we discussed today, probably most of us found ourselves in that situations, and probably most of us deal with it differently. We'd love to hear your perspective as well as a listener. And thank you very much for discussing those decision making, and awesome. We're going to bring in more in the next episodes as well.
Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, Battle Tap Pickleball, triple elimination, innovators of the sports in terms of the leagues and the tournaments. Definitely super friendly atmosphere, good line calling, good psychology. And yep, thank you very much.
Awesome.